All right. And going now. Hey. Can I go? All right, here we go. Hey, it's that comedian Brian Posehn, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Paulie Z Show. This is episode number 37. And I have an interesting character on today because this man is not only a stand-up comedian and an actor and a writer and extraordinaire, but he is an avid metalhead, which is why it makes sense to have him on today because we get a little bit of both, which is kind of interesting because that's doing Z-Rock was, kind of put us in that world too because we were rockers. And then all of a sudden we became comedians, without even realizing it. So I understand the duality of that. And that's why this should be very interesting. So let me say hello to Mr. Brian Posehn. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right.
How you doing? Hey. So Brian, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Like if we were on a first date, I
haven't had to do that in a long time.
Maybe if I just took you out and we're on our first date and we're at the Outback Steakhouse.
What a creepy first date. Two dudes with microphones.
Well, it's funny on that last episode, I was talking to Sam Simon and we were talking about how like the whole Wikipedia phenomenon it's just pathetic because that's like everyone's go-to to find out about something.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and I know this firsthand because, the problem is that a lot of that stuff is not reliable.
Right.
And when I went to ZO2's, to our band's page, and I'm looking at the stuff, and it's like, who wrote that? That's not right. And, so it's annoying. So he actually, we were talking about it because he caught me on there. I was like, that's like my first reference. I'm like, yeah, let me just see real quick. He goes, oh, that's half that stuff's not right. Don't look at it. So I say, you know what? Why don't you just tell everybody what you're about? So I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to even attempt to make a mistake. Go ahead.
Started stand-up half my life ago. I've been doing it for a long time, and then wrote on a TV show called Mr. Show for HBO. That was like my first real writing gig. Wrote on the old Jon Stewart show. And then started acting, in the early 90s, and just did a bunch of sitcoms. That kind of stuff. Just sort of fell into that, like moved to L.A. to write and to do stand-up, and never really intended on being on camera.
So writing was the main thing.
Yeah, well, it was like stand-up, the bottom started to fall out. Like there was that huge boom in the end of the 80s. But when I started in the late 80s. By the time I got good, or thought I was good, the bottom was falling out. So we all panicked, me and a bunch of San Francisco comics. We all moved to L.A. and tried to get real jobs, but, still creative jobs. We wanted writing gigs and that kind of thing.
This kind of sounds like a rock and roll now. Everyone's
yeah, it is sort of the same thing.
Yeah, my
God. Hopefully you'll have a resurgence like we did. But,
yes. Well, that's why we hang in there.
Yeah.
We just keep doing what we do. And then but now, obviously, comedian, writer, all that stuff. But you're very well known. You're outspoken for being an avid metalhead, and that's interesting to me because like I said, I came from the opposite. I'm a rocker.
Right.
Never saw myself as an actor. Never saw myself. I mean, funny, but in real life, funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's not the same as going in front of a camera.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have our own inside jokes and whatever, and then all of a sudden now we have our own show and everyone's like, you guys are so funny, blah 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 blah, and it's weird because. They kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like they're funny with their music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you've always heard, and it's true, it's a cliche, but it's a thing that I've seen because I know a lot of guys in bands now, and they all wish they were funnier, and could do that. And, I always wished I could play in a band, and and you hear that about comedians, and I know a bunch of guys that either do play instruments or wish they could.
The guy on our
but
show.
But instead, they got into stand-up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The guy on our show, Jay Okerson, who plays... do you know Jay by any chance?
I know him by name, and
okay.
I know... Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's
Same
funny.
thing.
Yeah.
He loves metal. He's like, I wish I could...
I didn't know he
was
was a metalhead, too.
Oh, yeah.
Cool,
He's on touring right now with
There's
Korn.
only a few of us, so...
Yeah, and you guys would get along very nicely. He loves it. He's a big Slipknot fan.
Oh, nice.
He's on tour right now, doing stand-up in front of Korn and is it Rob Zombie? I think it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's a perfect
On
gig
that
for him.
Mayhem tour. Yeah.
He goes out and in between the bands he does like 5 minutes.
That's great.
But his same thing. He's like, dude, I'm so wicked on Guitar Hero. That's when I can't play a G chord to save my life. And we became very close because it was the same thing. On set, we were so enamored by how quick and sharp he was. Like with the, because we never did this before, and we just had our natural comedy between the three of us. But he was so influential. And then he would look at us when we did the scenes like let's say, the live show scenes, and we were playing, and he'd just be like, oh, man, if I could only do that.
Right. It's a funny thing that I've definitely seen true.
Actors, too. Like actors, want
Oh,
to
well,
be
yeah,
musicians.
that's like,
Musicians want to be actors,
and that
artists.
very seldom works out.
Well, let's hope in our case it
No,
works out.
the other way, I mean.
The other way.
Actor that thinks he can be
yeah.
a musician,
That's,
Boy, that can be rough. That's why, with the stuff I did, luckily, I didn't do it serious. I didn't, write serious songs.
Right.
I don't think people would take it serious. So the fact that I wrote, 2 comedy songs and had Scotty Ian do all the heavy lifting, that kind of thing.
Well,
that was my way of
Adam
doing
Sandler
it for
kind of
it.
did that too.
But
right.
he can actually play.
Yeah, but still, imagine if
yeah.
he tried to do like a serious thing, like this
Right,
was like,
that's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
Did you ever hear the Serious Dane Cook song that leaked on to the internet a couple years ago?
Which one?
Oh, no, I don't know. I know he did a ballad, and that was the one I heard. It was rough.
Yeah.
Like
Well, you got what, like
stick
Keanu
to the
Reeves.
comedy, my friend.
Keanu Reeves
yeah,
had
yeah.
a band, the Bacon Brothers.
Yeah.
Even Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
he
it's
have
something
a band?
about it. Those are actors, but I'm
Right.
saying when a comedian
a
tries to do something serious, oof,
Yeah.
no one wants to hear that.
It is what it is. What it is. But and so, tell me a little bit about your experience with metal. How did you become, and why are you so outspoken? Is that just something that just happened, or did you go out? You set out to wave the
It
flag?
just happened, exactly. One of those things where I always looked up to comedians that, especially in San Francisco, I noticed it where they would become more real on stage. And in the beginning, my jokes were just whatever I would think of a joke about. It didn't matter, and it could be really silly and surreal or absurd. And as I got older, I started writing stuff that was more true to myself. And so that's like a thing I've always been. I've been a metalhead since I was 10 years old. So it's always been a huge part of me, but it wasn't a huge part of the act. And then it just, as I became more myself on stage, it just kind of snuck in. Started telling stories. Told a story about Chris Holmes from Wasp, how he was a dick to me when I was 15. And that was the first time. I asked him for an autograph, and
Where was this?
It was in Berkeley, California, where I grew up. Well, I grew up in Northern California. One of my first shows, I get to go see Wasp, and I'm obsessed with them at the time because they had the theatrics at Kiss and that kind of thing, but they were heavier.
Kiss fan?
Oh, huge! That was my first band.
Oh, we'll
I was
talk
10 years old. Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm obsessed with Wasp when I'm 15 or 16. It's a big deal to drive down, go see them. I meet the guy, and I'm so stoked. He's the guy I really like, Chris Holmes,
how
the
did you
guitar
meet
player.
him first?
Just approached at the end of the show, and he was the place that it was at, there was a little room where I could actually get to him. And ran up to him, but I was the last guy he wanted to talk to. He was looking at hot girls, and this 15-year-old geeky kid runs up, and I go, hey, can I have your autograph? And he goes, grow some tits.
That's what he said?
Yes. And I just stood there so bombed.
See, if you were me at 15,
you would have talked shit. You would have yelled at him.
No, I had tits.
Oh, okay,
because I was a 36 waist.
Oh, you're a fat kid when
I was
you were
a
little.
fat kid, yeah.
Oh no.
Well, there's a reason.
I was super skinny, but then.
Oh no, there's a reason I look this good now.
Right.
It's because
nice.
I had to overcome. I had to overcome.
I get it. So I say in my act, and then I thought about it. I was like, wait, that's the only thing stopping me from being a pretty lady is a set of tits. You'd be more creeped out,
I think there was a couple more requirements, probably.
Yeah, and then now I'm so out of shape, I feel like I actually have tits, and I could follow Wasp on the reunion tour and get him to sign Lefty. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But that was one of the first jokes I told on stage, where it was I'm a metalhead, and if you know who this is, great. If you don't, I'm going to just keep moving through the story, And it sort of it connected with other guys that knew who Wasp was, and I did that on MTV or on Comedy Central, and that's when I started to see that, oh shit, there's these other guys, that like the same stuff that I do, and I'm connecting with them, and it wasn't like I said, like, I'm going to be the heavy metal comedian, I just sort of started talking more about that stuff and connected more and more with guys.
Do
like
you
that.
mind though, like being that now? Like, it
No,
seems
not
like
at all. I
okay,
love it.
like
No,
the diplomat voice.
those are my people, but
Right.
it wasn't like, it happened totally organically,
I have a similar story. Speaking about Kiss, our band is huge.
Oh, you
Kiss
met
fans.
Gene Simmons and yeah.
No.
Don't meet your heroes.
No, I met Ace.
Oh.
No, I'll tell you. Well, before I tell you this story, real quick, I don't know how much you probably don't know very much about our group, but our band ZO2, which is on the show, we're a kids band and a rock band. In real life, that's what we do.
Right.
So we have a kids band called the Z Brothers and a rock band called ZO2. ZO2 put out all our records pretty much on our own. Everything we've done on our own dime. And the first album we put out, we were able to get it into the hands of Paul Stanley because our ex-management at the time were friends with them. And Paul asked us to do the whole tour with them. Kiss, Posehn, ZO2. 40 dates,
That's
unsigned. It was like, you can imagine. That was like, I could have died after that tour and it would have been fine. And they were actually great. Like meeting Gene and Paul on the tour, I think because we were a band on the bill. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like if we were fans. I think sometimes people have a differentiation, especially Gene. I've heard this about Gene, is that if you're like, if you're working with him, is very different than if you're working for him.
I see.
Or if you're a fan.
Right.
Very, very different. So because we were the opening band, we were friends of Paul. He treated us great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we had. I can't complain about anything about that. But when I met Ace, slightly different experience. Do you remember the Rock Soldiers?
Oh yeah.
Were you a rock soldier?
I guess I had that album for sure. Yeah.
No, but did you? No, the fan club though.
Oh, the Ace Frehley fan
Yeah.
club? No.
Okay, that
no,
was
no,
called-
I wasn't an official member.
Okay,
No,
well,
no.
I was. I paid
Nice.
for it. I paid,
Wow.
I think it was $50. And what it was is that you get a shirt, you got like a little newsletter, and then you also got a pass that you can go to backstage to like, I guess, one show a year or something like that. And they played L'Amour, which I'm sure you've...
Right.
Yeah,
Never saw a show, but I'm
You never
very
been to L'Amour?
familiar. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, you're not really... Where you...
California.
But all your whole
northern,
life?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Brooklyn, born and raised. But I was too young, really, to experience L'Amour. And right when they were about to close, and, when that kid got killed and then they were going to close, Ace played a couple of shows. And I went, and I had my Rock Soldiers thing, right? So I'm like excited. I'm with Benny Boy, by the way. Actually, Benny Boy is one of the characters on this show. And we go there, we get in. He was huge. This was when Ace was fat. He was whacked out of his mind, drunk. He was staring straight, no
And
smile,
how
no
old
face.
kids were you guys?
I think I was probably 16 or 17, so it's about the same. And I at the time I went to school for art, so at the time that was like airbrushing was really big, remember? So I airbrushed a shirt for him. Hold on, wait.
It's heartbreaking already.
No, but hold on. This was
Yeah.
the second Ace show. The first Ace show, I threw a shirt on stage for him that I made. And and he picked it up and he gave it to his guy. And I was like, Ace, that's for you, that's for you. So this second show, I came back with a new shirt that I wanted him to sign. So I said, Ace, remember me? I threw a shirt at you the other day. I swear, he looks at me and no facial expression and just turns back and is looking straight ahead. Nothing. And I'm like, okay. I said, hey, I have another shirt. I want you to sign. Could you sign it? Doesn't even look at me. Doesn't smile. Doesn't say hello. Almost like if he was, shot up with like numbing, juice or something. And numbing juice. Isn't there a word for stuff that makes you
Sure.
numb? Anesthesia. Yeah. See, I make up my own words. Anyway, the point of the story is that he did sign it and we took the picture. But if you see the picture, it's terrible because he just looked like he was in another planet, didn't want to be there, couldn't care less. I was heartbroken, traumatized to the point that I almost didn't want to listen to his records anymore. And I was like, I couldn't believe it because I made something for him. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
And you think that he's going to be like, oh, cool, this is awesome.
But nothing.
Unbelievable. And it took me a long time to get over that. Were you did that traumatize you? Or was it kind of like,
No, and I don't think I immediately stopped listening to Wasp. No, because I know I listened that that other record came out, the one with Blind in Texas came out after that, and I still like that, The
Okay.
Last Command or whatever.
So it didn't bother you enough that
No.
you were like, fuck these guys. Like,
No.
Okay, because I know people that do that. I know.
And I met Hetfield when I was a kid, and he wasn't nice to me, but I still I was the biggest Metallica fan. Like I guess I went, yeah, I get it. All right,
Right. It
You
just
know?
is what it is.
I'd be mean to me too, whatever.
Well, that's why I try so hard never to, even if you're in a bad mood, because that's the thing that people don't realize. We're human. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, what if that day, you found out you fucking got, testicular cancer? I mean,
Right.
you're not about to be like, hey, kid. So people don't
Yeah.
realize that, and it's tough.
Yeah, I try really hard to be cool to people, and I'm like not that cool of a guy like before I became whatever I've gained or whatever this, but and my wife really early on introduced. I can name like the times I was a dick probably 5 times to different people, and I feel bad about it because I always try now to be really nice, but we were at a party, and this one it was after Mr. Show, or maybe we were still on, but. She's not my wife at the time. We're her girlfriend, and I'm waiting for her outside. And I go back into this party, and so I'm already in a bad mood, and I don't want to be at this place. And some guy's talking to her, and I'm like, "Oh, great! Who's this guy talking to my girlfriend?" And she goes, "Oh, this guy really wants to meet you. He loves Mr. Show." And I look at him and I go, "Oh yeah, me too." And just. Like,
Wow.
couldn't have been a bigger dick.
Right.
Like,
Jesus.
that's what came to me. Like, oh, that's how I'll handle this. This is going to be awesome.
But
And
that's
just
because you were
felt bad about it. Still, whatever, how many ever years that it is since then, I still feel awful about it. And this guy now thinks I'm a dick, or forever has. Like if my name comes up, he's like, "Oh, I met that dude."
And God forbid this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
edits Wikipedia. You're
Yeah,
dead. You're
no.
dead.
No, I know.
Yeah, well, I
so that's
remember-
why I try always to be cool, and
Yeah.
and also having people be not nice to me when I was a kid. So
Right.
I know how it feels and that kind of thing. So, but sorry, Mister, whoever you are,
Whoever you are, if you're listening to the Paulie Z show,
yeah.
then
If you remember that,
Brian is apologizing for all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I've ever not been like nice, but I know there's times where, especially before a show, before a concert, I have to be like, I'm very like relaxed, and I kind of like save up my energy, and I really don't want to be bothered. Like after show, I'll do anything.
Right.
But before show, it's like I need my little space, and sometimes.
people are in the dressing room that don't belong there
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Yeah, no.
Or like
You make
before, like
crappy,
they come early, like people sometimes that come like super early,
Uh-huh.
and they wait outside the club. And when we get there, and like we're on, you're getting there for sound check.
Right.
You're assuming no one's gonna be there, and they're there, and then they're like, hey, can you, I'm in my shorts. I'm in like I don't.
Right.
You don't feel
Right.
like you're on.
Right.
You're off. You're off duty. But I guess
Right.
you're never really off
No,
duty in
you
this
can't
business.
be a douche because
No,
they'll
you-
remember.
Right. That's the thing. Joan Rivers told me once on Z-Rock, she told me great advice. She said, always tip well, because if you
Yeah.
don't, they talk. They remember.
For sure.
Yeah. She says they all talk. Like, so if you screw someone, then it's like it gets around. So that's actually pretty good advice,
That's
I think.
good advice. Solid.
All right. So you're a Kiss fan.
Yes.
Okay. Do you collect or no?
Well, collect.
Like Kiss memorabilia? Or,
Yeah, I mean, I have
What are you-
a bunch of stuff left over. I don't still like partake, but
what,
I got like
you
an old.
grew up?
No, but I still
so
listen
what?
to
People
them.
that partake?
No, because
You trying to say something about me?
No, I collect so much random stuff over the years, but
What do
yeah,
you
I collect other things,
Action figures?
statues and comics and that kind of
Yeah?
stuff. Yeah.
You-
But
Like the,
I still have like the Kiss lunchbox and
Pinball
a
machine?
bunch of vinyl. I did have the pinball machine. Yeah.
I haven't.
I was living with another dude, and we had both gone in on it. And so then when we broke up, essentially, we sold it off. It's okay. But
John Popper broke my pinball machine?
really, by sitting on it?
No, no, that
That's
would
the
make
obvious.
sense. No, and he swears that it wasn't him, but he came over
he's
my
a
house.
huge fat guy.
He came over my
or
house.
is he still? I don't know.
He's much. He's not like
He's a
he
gun
was.
collector, so I should
Yeah.
probably watch it.
You should, yeah, and he's nuts. But he's such a sweetheart. No, he looks so much better now.
Oh, wow.
But he's still a big guy.
Right.
And he came over my house one day after a taping of Z-Rock, because he was like a recurring character, so we became very friendly. He came over my apartment one day just to see the place. First of all, almost killed my rabbits because he couldn't see what, he was stepping, and I said, dude, watch out. He almost crushed it. And he's like, what is that thing over there?
Wait,
like,
you have rabbits just running around your apartment? Like,
I have 2 bunny rabbits that run around my apartment. Yes.
All right.
Anyway. Shut up. Yeah, I meditate with my rabbits.
Okay.
Anyway, so John's like, oh, yeah, Kiss Pinball Machine. He's like, can I play? And I said, turn it on. And he starts playing, and his freaking pudgy fingers broke it. I don't know what he did, but all of a sudden, it worked before he came. 2 minutes later, I couldn't get the ball to come back up. Like, the machine still turns on and the music goes on, but the ball doesn't come up. So he did something, and he won't fix it for me.
You haven't had a pinball nerd come by and fix it for you?
Not yet. I have numbers
I'm sure
for
they exist.
Oh yeah, they're in the phone book. I got them. But I was a huge collector of Kiss stuff. Not so much anymore because now you start thinking, my money's, do I go there or do I pay for rent?
Right.
But I still have an amazing collection and comics, toys. Did you ever get into action figures?
I did, yeah, and I did collect a lot of the Kiss action figures, but then, like, I'm so nerdy about things, like, I'll change my mind because of something I read or, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be super obsessed over something,
right?
Like Star Wars or Kiss, and then they'll lose me,
Oh, so you can just...
Yeah, I'll get mad, and then I'll stop collecting. Like, not like we were talking about earlier, like a guy in Metallica being not cool to me, and then I stay a Metallica fan.
That's not
but
enough
things
to
that
get you
don't
to stop?
personally affect me, but
Hold
like,
on. So him being a douche to you is not enough to stop
right.
you. But if you read an article in page 6 that he broke up with his girlfriend,
whatever it is,
he dumped Jennifer Aniston.
Whatever it is,
man.
no, it was like some Kiss stuff I read, and I was just like
what?
I don't want to get it. It's so dorky, but
I don't want to get into it. But it was 1983. It was August 7th. It was a cold.
No, but just kind of when they replaced the guys, and when they replaced Ace and Tommy Thayer, but then he's still Ace, and then
so you don't like
those
that.
guys don't get a piece of it.
Right.
It's just some ugly business dealings that make me kind of it's kind of harder to like them. You know what I mean?
I understand that. It's tough. That's
still
the
a
thing.
huge part of my history.
But they're still Kiss, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah.
So
occasionally, if the iPod Shuffle comes on and it's Kiss Alive 2, I'm not going to turn it off.
But you wouldn't go out and buy the new one, Sonic Boom.
No.
Right. See, I still love
right.
No. Right. I love them so much.
I held on for a long time, and then just like point? Star Wars too. Star Wars is worse. Star Wars is worse
because of the new movies.
Yeah. My wife hates it when people start to talk about Star Wars because she knows I'm about to go into a tirade. Like,
well, let me ask
that's
you a question.
Who I am. Like,
let me
I'm
ask you a question.
That geek that's still so mad.
Well,
like, those movies betrayed me.
Why don't we not talk about that? And let's talk about.
You know what I mean?
Let's talk about.
Yeah, good.
No, let's talk about Star Wars for a second.
Wait.
What?
I thought we weren't going to talk about Star Wars.
No, I said, well, let's not talk about that. I didn't say Star Wars.
Okay.
That could be very open to interpretation.
Kiss.
Yeah, it's Kiss. I was talking about. Let's not talk about Kiss. Let's talk about Star Wars for a second.
No, you don't want to.
Why not? Well, let me tell you from my perspective because
you're younger.
Yes, I'm younger. So I didn't grow up. Did you see Star Wars when it was in the movies?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, so so we definitely have enough years apart. Because I was. Well, because I was that's not that. What?
I'm not taking any offense.
That's great. I didn't say he's not old or anything. He's just older.
No,
than I
am old, but yeah.
Well, old compared to who? You're not old compared to Milton Berle, right? I mean, it's just all in comparison.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, he's only 35 years older than me.
That's what I'm saying. It's all relative.
All right.
Like I'm old compared to a kid.
A baby.
Yes, a baby. I'm old.
Right.
But compared to you, I'm not. So what I'm saying is, I was born when Star Wars came out. You know what I mean? Like around that time. So I obviously, that was for me. I had no experience with that.
It's the perfect age. I was like 10 years old when it came out. So
yeah. I would trade with you, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I envy people in that generation because you got my father was 19 or something like that during Woodstock. Maybe he was a little older. Like I wish maybe like I would have loved to have been a kid right around like 71, 72.
Yeah,
You know
this
what I mean? Or
was
74.
77. I was 10 years old.
Yeah. So that, see,
So I
even
got
I would go a
Jaws the
little
year
bit
before, and
but
I
I
was
would-
obsessed with Jaws.
But see,
and
I'd like to be a little bit even older than you, so that when Zeppelin was around,
Right,
and
yeah,
Deep
I
Purple
didn't get
came out,
Zeppelin. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I would have loved to have been like my dad. I think was perfect. It was 1949. You know what I mean? 20 years old in Woodstock. I mean, so then you're a kid when the Beatles and the Stones, perfect, and then you're still in your 20s with Van Halen and Kiss and AC/DC.
Right.
They don't realize how good they had it.
No, I know. If I would have been like just slightly older, I would have gotten to see Kiss together, which I
Right.
never did. You know, the full lineup.
Oh,
Like I got
really?
into them, and
Not even the reunion. Did you go
I
to
got
those?
into them when Destroyer came out, but I was too little to go to shows. You know.
Did you see the reunion tours? Or
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, but you didn't
it
see an
wasn't the
original.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. My dad, at that age, had you been a little bit older, you would have been Destroyer. Let's say you were old enough to go. That would have been perfect. So for me, I envy that. Like, because I feel like my generation was like, But anyway, when I saw, Star Wars, for me, with the action figures and the whole mystique, it was like Zeppelin. It was like something that I had, that it was classic.
Right.
And the new movies for me, it did. I probably not as bad as for you, and I'm curious to see what you think because you have a different experience with it. But I definitely couldn't get into him. Like, I understand why they did it the way they did it, but I lost something for it. But I want to hear about now. What do you think? Like,
It just, to me, it felt like movies made by a different guy. It didn't even feel like anything was kept from the originals.
Except the
like
name.
but none of the spirit, none of what was good about those movies, and they were, badly directed, badly written, just horrible, horrible movies. And I looked upon it, and I talked about it on stage as like an act of betrayal. To me, it was like your uncle. That was your favorite uncle, and he turned you on to UFO and gave you your first beer and that kind of thing. And then he put his penis in your ear, on Christmas.
I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
No, he didn't. He
I
didn't
know what
rape
you're
you.
saying.
He didn't rape you or anything. But you're watching. It's
He's
Christmas
tickle
night.
your sack a little bit.
Everybody else is asleep in the house, and you're tired, and you're sort of out of it. So you're not even sure at first that you're like, "What's touching my ear?" And then you're like, "That's my uncle's penis." Like,
Right, and he says, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay."
yeah, whatever he says.
Well, so are
But
you
that's
saying
what-
that now you can't enjoy the originals? Is that bad?
It has tainted him a little bit. Yeah. Now I'm.
No
it's
pun
been so
intended
long.
with the taint?
Yeah, no, I wasn't going for that. But
Because I can understand even like now with that hypothetical uncle.
Yeah.
Now every time you heard "Lights Out," a UFO, you'd be like, "Ah, my ears, my ears."
I just watched Empire recently, and I didn't get like any rapey feelings.
You
It
did?
wasn't-
Okay,
no.
all right. Are you a Rush fan too?
Oh, huge.
All right, so we're probably all like we like the same stuff.
Yeah,
I think maybe where me and you differ, and again, I only know from stuff I hear or stuff I've read, but you seem to be more into some of the heavier stuff. Where
Yeah.
I can't get heavier than like Metallica, Megadeth, and even I have Slayer, but like even that's like at the edge of my heaviness.
Right.
And right, and so am I correct? Like you go
yeah,
beyond that.
I like a little bit of death and some of that stuff, but even that for me, like, it's so funny. And I wrote a song called "More Metal Than You" because
I heard that
you
song,
you
yeah.
you meet a lot of other metalheads, and it becomes like this competition. You're saying conceding or saying, "Oh, that I'm more metal than you are." But,
I'm giving you
But a
the-
lot of
yeah.
times, guys will be competitive with it, and I just at a certain point, like, I don't get the really like the grindcore stuff and just like the really really heavy stuff where it sounds like, pushing a refrigerator off a building,
Right.
just like heaviness for the sake of heaviness.
Right, or like
I
you know,
still like.
some of those guys sound like me when I'm having an asthma attack.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just trying to get phlegm up, and these guys are making a living, and I don't get it.
I like some of the Cookie Monster stuff. I like the
Like who?
original stuff, like Cannibal Corpse and Obituary, the bands that came out in the '90s and are still doing the same stuff. Like they originated that. But the stuff that I can't really get my head around is like the newer generation, where it's like just parts of a song. It's not even like a real song. It's like
What do you
6 different song parts thrown together, and it doesn't like. It's not cohesive at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a song. It's just. That's what I mean. It's just parts, and it's like There's the Cookie Monster part. There's the
Well, they combine.
the clear
There's a lot of
vocal
bands.
part,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say
then
like there's a
the
lot of bands
clean
that
stuff,
combine
and
it.
then the shredder, guitar part.
Yeah. You know who's a band, a current band that I like?
Makes me feel so old when I hear that. Just like
You like Avenged Sevenfold?
not really. No.
That's okay. There's no reason, but you don't have to. No, because that's one of the old.
You're gonna go. Oh, they're good friends of mine.
No, no. You want to hear a quick story, real funny?
Sure.
I was at where were we? It was BB King's. Why were we there? Oh, Fozzy played.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, Chris Jericho's
Jericho.
band,
Yeah. Also, he was on Z-Rock, so a good buddy of mine. And we opened for them. And Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine, so don't say you don't like them.
No, I love that band.
You do love that. Okay. We actually
Yeah,
just
yeah.
played with them in Buffalo. It was a good time. He came up and jammed with us.
They're amazing.
So anyway, Mike Portnoy went and jammed with them. And, guys from Anthrax were there. Like, it was just a cool hang,
Cool.
right? So we go to dinner afterwards. We go down to Little Italy. And it's like maybe 2 a.m. And there's one place that's still open. We're having dinner. It's a big table full of people. So it's like me and my drummer, Jericho and his wife, Portnoy and his wife, some guy from a Metal Blade Records, some A&R guy, whatever, random guy. Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses was there. And then there were like 3 guys that I didn't know. But they looked like they were in a band, you know what I mean? Like they had, So we're talking and like 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by and I'm like, and I knew they were friends with Portnoy. And eventually I was like, Mike, I said, why are you so rude, man? Introduce me to your friends. I'm on this side of the table. They're over there. We don't even know it. And so he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, hey, Paulie, Joey, these are my friends. They're in a band called Avenged Sevenfold. And I'm like, duh, I know Avenged Sevenfold. I was like, so it was weird that it was like they're there. And I knew who they were. So I get up and I said, hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, listen, I just want you guys to know, like I'm not really a big fan of your kind of music, but I think you guys are great. Like I like your band. And now let me ask you before I go further, if I said that to you, if I said I'm not a fan of your kind of, your style of comedy, the comedy, or I'm not a fan of, whatever, that type of comedy, but I actually like your stuff. Like I think you're good. Would you take that as a compliment? Or
I
an
would.
insult?
I would get it. Yeah. It's hard. It's a weird thing.
Why?
I could see being insulted by
Why
that.
where does the insult at all? I don't get it. Because then Bumblefoot goes, bro, what did you just say that? And I said, what do you mean? And Mike Portnoy put his hand on his head. He's like, oh, Paulie, what am I going to do with you? I can't take you anywhere. And I said, what? That's like the ultimate compliment, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
Because it's saying it's something that, it's like if I don't watch basketball, but I would watch for you because I think you're really good.
Right.
No?
Yeah, but I see both sides.
Where's the other side?
Well, you're throwing them. I don't know what they like, or what they're about under the bus first, and that's the first thing that they hear.
But it's not
Is
on
you
the.
going-
But don't I have a right to not be into that?
I don't like
style?
what you do, but I like what you do.
Is
With
that what
this
it comes
thing
up-
that I hate. There's this thing I totally hate
listen.
that you're doing.
Listen, Adolf. I'm not into
Yeah.
into the Nazi thing, but I like you.
But you're a good Nazi.
You're one of the better
No,
ones.
that's different.
So it wasn't. Well, I asked the guy. I think they were just so like in shock, and because I was like, you guys know what I mean, right? They're like, I think they wanted nothing to do with me.
Right.
And then plus I didn't know about the drummer. I didn't know about
that was
yeah.
just so that's fairly recently, or
Yeah. So it was just I was just being me, ranting and raving,
Right.
like a lunatic. But anyway, that's my Avenged story. But the reason I asked is because I like their stuff, and they combine. Like he sings, and then which is probably why you don't like them. Well,
I like parts of what they do. Like
Elements.
the drummer was great, and he was like the one of the key parts of the band. And the guitar players are shredders, but I just can't.
Is it 2-party maybe?
Yeah.
Well, that's a style, That's a style.
Yeah.
I mean, Dream Theater, if you think about it, very much like that. Very party. A lot.
Yeah,
of their stuff.
but they're progressive, and it's still like it feeds. It works with the entire song.
Right.
Like it still becomes cohesive at the end, or it feels. You know what I mean? Or it works for them at least.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
What would be your top 5 bands?
Bands of all time. Oh man, that's so hard. But it's
Well,
it's
so
got to
let's
be
say
like
it doesn't have
Rush,
to be definitive.
Rush,
Yeah, give me-
Maiden, Metallica. Then it gets hard.
Okay. All right, so we got the top three. Rush.
Yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
Kiss is not in that top.
No.
Really? Okay, I thought for some reason the way you answered it before that you
Well, they were my first one in,
Okay.
and then I just went all over the place. But AC/DC would probably be higher up than Kiss would be now.
So are you a Rush fan like I am? Like you follow them even through the
Oh
synth
yeah.
years?
I've just
Okay.
bought the new stuff that they're putting out now. They're putting out singles before the record
Yeah.
comes out, and I'm going to see them tomorrow. And
Where?
they're here in LA. They're doing moving pictures.
Cover to cover?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's this new tour.
Oh, okay. So wait, did they do New York already?
I don't know.
Shit. I saw him. Yeah, I mean, I try to see him as much as I can. What'd you think of the documentary?
I loved it.
But let me ask you a question. Don't you think they kind of went a little quick with the beginning stuff? They didn't talk about how they came up with the name at all.
All right. Yeah,
The
I
logo.
guess there were things, but
You know what I mean? Like they kind of like just the
their
early
history's so
stuff.
long, and like put it into 2.5 hours and not make you want to blow your head off.
I guess so. I just always feel like that's the most intriguing stuff is that early stuff. Like that footage. How did they get the footage with Alex and his family? Who the hell was filming that?
No, that was crazy.
Why are they filming?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever sit and wonder like why?
Yeah.
Me and my brother were like, who's filming and why? Why are they
Yeah,
filming?
that was weird. Yeah.
But it was great. Oh, dude, it was like them at dinner and him talking. Oh, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And
Did you watch the extras on the DVD? Did you watch
Yeah.
like them getting drunk together and having that long dinner? It's really
yeah.
funny. Oh.
That's awesome. I like
Yeah,
that
that was, like,
hour
one of
number
my favorite
4,
things. Yeah,
hour
yeah.
number 5. And you know what I like about them too is like they remind me of our group. Like they're good guys, family oriented. They don't do drugs. They don't, and they're funny. They have a sense of humor, and they just, are good with what they do. And it's like that's so rare.
Right.
Like it's hard to find. It's like that. I mean, for us, that's what we're trying to do. That's that's the flag I'm waving.
Yeah, I love the stories
You
they
know?
told about coming off nerdy on some of these tours where guys are banging girl after girl.
Gene-
and
the
these
Gene
guys
interview
are,
was the
yeah,
best.
Yeah.
He goes,
It's like, what's Rush up
Yeah,
to?
what are they
What
doing?
A bunch
It's like
of
no one's-
dorks. Yeah.
That,
Just
you know what's
playing
funny?
their instruments and
What's
reading.
funny about Rush too is that
yeah.
they're the only band. Tell me if you can think of another band that's been with the same members, not necessarily original, obviously because John Rutsey, but the same 3 people. There's only one band that beats them. Same 3 people, or let's say same members for that long of a period of time.
Yeah, I
There's
can't
one
even
band.
think of anybody.
No, Stones. The Rolling Stones went through how many people?
They had a lot of.
Yeah, they had different in the beginning. They had a lot of different people. It's one band that is unmatched, and I can't find anyone who can disagree with me. ZZ Top,
Oh yeah, that's.
original members, never changed, and 67, I think, right? 68, maybe.
Yeah, and Rush has been together.
I mean, they first album 74.
Right. And then when was the second one or Fly By Night with
That was
that
right,
lineup? Yeah.
right. So I mean, even if they were with John for a couple of years, I mean, no one can touch that ZZ Top.
Huh.
That's amazing, though. Think
That's
about
pretty
that.
impressive. Yeah.
Think about that. It's over 40 years.
That they don't hate each other.
It's insane.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just a little game we play. And then, so do you play in your band too, or do you just sing?
No, and I wrote the lyrics, but Scott did, like I said, all the heavy lifting. He writes the the songs and but it's a blast, like to sit. I don't know how big of an Anthrax fan you were, but they were one of my favorite bands. And then SOD, bringing like comedy to metal. Were you ever into SOD?
I don't even
like-
know what that is.
It was his second band. They did their first record like in 1985, Stormtroopers of Death, but it's like funny thrash metal.
Okay, that's
And,
Scott's band.
Scott's other band, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I worshipped them as a teenager. So then to be able to write like goofy metal with this guy, like that introduced me to that, like because metal, like, and I love a lot of the stuff that doesn't have a sense of humor. I love how straight Iron Maiden is, and like all the literary references, and that's like what drew me to them. But
Right.
what drew me to Anthrax was they were like the first band that kind of had a sense of humor.
A little bit of tongue in cheek. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Van Halen, though, if you think about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Come on,
true.
Ice Cream
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
Van
but that was
Halen-
hard rock, and
Right, not
Anthrax
metal.
was super aggressive.
If you
but
had
then
to choose,
also,
though,
yeah,
if you had to choose, would you say you're more metal or more hard rock at the core?
metal.
Really?
Yeah, because those bands, like, I became obsessed and really changed my life. The first wave of thrash bands, the big four,
So
Megadeth
hard,
and
but you got
Slayer.
in with classic rock, hard rock
Yeah.
and stuff. But now
But I
you
was
identify with
I was
metal.
17 when thrash metal came out, so like
Oh yeah, perfect age. For it.
yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm a like. Do you like Deep Purple and Humble Pie and stuff like that? Back
A little bit, yeah. I don't know Humble Pie that well or Bad Company, but I do like some of
Free.
those bands like UFO and that era,
Yeah.
and Thin Lizzy. I
That
like a
right.
lot. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I like. I seem to. I go for like that early '70s, like that bluesy. See, I come from the more bluesy. My brother is a much more. He loves the prog. We both love Rush, but he loves Rush a little more than I do because he likes the more technical stuff.
Right, and he can play too. Yeah,
Oh, my brother's a monster on bass. And I don't know. I go naturally more towards, even in my '80s hair metal stuff. I naturally go towards the bands that were more bluesy.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Like
What you think?
Cinderella. Were you
I
into
didn't. I
that?
never really
No?
got, even though they are bluesy. They are,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
never
they
really
kind
got
of had that Aerosmith thing. And,
Yeah. I I loved Skid Row because I thought they were just more ballsy.
Yeah.
His voice was great. Even I loved Warren because I thought Janie's voice had a lot of soul in the voice. The production was whatever, but
Right. Yeah.
but when he sang, I got that vibe. Whereas a lot of those other bands, I didn't get it. It was they missed out on that.
By that point, I was like so into thrash that you weren't allowed to like some of those bands. Yeah.
Did you secretly like them? Come on,
No, but
none of them. Nothing. You didn't like
not
any
really,
of that.
No, I took a girl to Bon Jovi once, and it was pretty much just
To get laid?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you?
No, no, because
That's
no,
terrible.
our buddy threw a flying like off the top ropes cock block that evening. He knew I was taking this girl back to my house, and he called her at my house and was like being the freaky friend and said he needed her over at his place to like help him through something, and just like and I was just could not believe it as it was happening.
Oh my god!
I was like, this guy is trying so hard to cockblock me and winning. Like, he won.
Well, I mean,
He never slept with her, but I didn't.
did you
which
have
was
a
what
tough time?
what?
Did you have a tough time? Like all us, quote unquote, goofy kids growing up. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I
But
had
by
rough,
by
man.
that point, yeah, my hair. I still had my hair at that point, and I wasn't
Long hair.
wearing glasses, so I could pull it together, and I had a lot of fake confidence at that point.
I didn't have that.
So
man.
I was able.
I was a very late bloomer.
Yeah, and I kind of played this Spicoli kind of stoner rocker thing, but also the quiet guy that
Oh, okay.
he's hiding something.
Right. Like he
that
might,
appeals.
I think he might be a killer. He's killed someone.
No, not that
Yeah.
creepy, but it somehow appealed to some
right.
rocker girls that
Oh, so was it? So you
also
didn't
wanted
have
to
like.
piss off their mom or whatever.
But what about like when you started getting, a little bit of celebrity status, and now you're on TV, and then you have these credits and blah 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 blah. Did you notice an overnight change? Like, oh my god, like these hot girls fucking.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but I was already with a girl. I was already my lady. Yeah, we've been together for 13 years. So
Oh wow.
when
Okay.
I first started doing sitcom stuff, I was already with her.
Yeah. That's
So I couldn't or
right.
wouldn't. Yeah.
That's kind of similar to my story too, actually.
Right on.
Because actually I'm recently married actually,
cool.
and I was with her pretty much through all of my, professional music career, about 8.5 years now. So, right before that it was debauchery though. Like when I was single, and if I was single, that it'd be. It probably actually is better off that I'm not. 'Cause my brother and I were like, you talk about Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx. My brother and I were that. But imagine if you don't have drugs, you don't drink alcohol,
Right.
You
So
don't
it's
smoke.
just girls.
Girls
Yeah.
and food. So
Yeah,
all we
yeah.
did, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It was pathetic, and we were late
You
bloomers,
didn't have
so we
the
were
other
like catching up.
distractions. like,
Nothing. No.
drugs.
There's like, they're like,
Right.
it's like you go drink, you go to the bar. It's like I'm having a threesome. I'm
Right.
having a foursome. And it was debauchery for a while, and then same kind of thing. And then, but I think it's almost. Don't you feel like it's almost better that way
Oh,
because
yeah.
you catch them before?
Absolutely, because she's listening.
Right. Well, at least, hey, we know we got one listener. That's one subscriber right
She's
there.
I wonder what he said.
What did he say
Listen
about
to
me?
this.
But it does make a difference though, because it's like you know that they love you for you.
Yeah, no,
It's not like because you were the guy on that show or I was on that tour. Or blah, blah,
no,
blah.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
That's
No,
the
I
best.
didn't have to
thing.
really deal with that stuff.
Yeah, that's the best way, and it's cool too because then you kind of like, you can get it,
Right.
and you just
No,
kind
it
of
was
like,
funny when they would be flirting. I'm like,
It's like, where were you when I was a kid?
Thanks. Yeah.
That's the cruelest joke right there.
Yeah.
That's the ugly duckling, you know?
Yeah. We could have gone to prom.
Yeah. Actually, that's a funny story because that's when I lost my virginity at prom.
Oh, really? I was one
Someone
of
I
those
didn't
kids
know.
that was not invited. Or I was invited, but nobody went with me. So we toilet papered other people's cars that were at prom.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you
That's
were like
what
one
you
of those
do.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I was goofy, but you know
I'm
what's
not going
funny?
to walk into the school with an automatic weapon, but I'll probably prank you. Yeah, I'll probably throw eggs at your house.
You were only a couple steps away from that. It sounds like you weren't that far off. See, I was the thing with me is my goofiness was different because I was how do I say it? Like I was friends even with the cool kids, and I was like friends with everybody.
Right.
I never got picked on or really got bullied or stuff, but I just wasn't cool. I didn't have a connection to any particular group enough. I wasn't so nerdy that I was like part of the comic book kind of cartoon. You know what I mean? Like I had that, but I wasn't so into it like I was with them. And I played sports, but I wasn't really a sports guy. So I wasn't good enough that I could really hang with the sports guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, musically, I guess music is where, I kind of hung out with the music guys. But, but the cool kids were like, hey, Paul, so I never had that angst.
Right.
I didn't toilet paper or anything. My only thing was it took so long to freaking, get the whole girl thing happening. That just took a long time. That's like a pain in the ass because then you feel like you're like making up for lost time. Did you?
Right.
You feel like that?
In my 20s a little bit.
Did you do crazy shit?
I wouldn't say crazy.
No?
But yeah.
Ththreesome? You ever do a threesome?
No.
You never had a threesome your whole
no,
life?
No.
Oh man, we got to try to hook that up.
No.
We got to hook that up. Where's your lady?
No, my wife said
Where's
it's okay now as long as she doesn't hear about it. I'm like, no, it's still not okay. And I would never do that. Especially now, too.
It is a lot of work, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You think taking care of one girl is
No,
hard?
and I already feel bad enough for the one. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry. But then having to be like to both girls, sorry, you guys.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, this is so awful. But it's your fault.
That's where
both of you.
my fake confidence came in later. When I started playing in bands and stuff, that's where it came in. And then I was just like, you have to have that confidence.
And then the only ones that have ever come up, the opportunities were always the one that I wouldn't want. And the guy, one other guy and a girl.
Oh, that threesome. Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's it's not. I haven't.
All right.
No, well, I'll say this. I never went all the way like that. I mean, I've done some orgy kind of stuff, but I did. But I did with a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention names though. I did a double Hummer. There's one girl in the middle, and then just left and right. Yeah, that was interesting.
Right.
Yeah, it was in my old apartment.
Were you guys high fiving?
Yeah, we were.
I think you have to.
We were.
It's sort of required.
We did.
Yeah.
I mean, we would. The funny thing was too. It was more. We would smile. Like it was more fun than it was.
That
sexual.
is so creepy. The idea of two dudes just smiling at each other.
Not at each other, but it was just like, dude, so
this is eye contact.
Don't knock it till you tried it. All right, buddy.
It's not gonna happen.
Fun. Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I would get so creeped out. Just like even if his arm rubbed against my arm.
Oh no, we made sure nothing touched.
Right.
You have to make sure nothing touches.
That's so okay.
Okay. Have I successfully creeped you out?
Yeah. Well, that's why I never did that because I was
too creepy.
Like, no, I don't want to high five over some poor girl's back. Like that's just awful.
Or like switch, like you switch partners and stuff. It's all fun. It's good stuff.
I guess
that's a rock and roll thing, man.
Yeah, but that's why I'm in comedy.
Yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't happen a lot with two comedians.
So.
Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't
it's a different
think.
world. Different world.
Yeah, thankfully.
Well, that's why everybody wants to be a rock star, though. If you think about it, you get to do shit like that.
Not me.
No.
That's not the part that was appealing.
Oh, okay.
No, it's more like the worship and just people like throwing metal horns at you and that whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, how about speaking of metal horns? Were you a Dio fan?
Yes, huge.
That was a big blow.
Yeah, and because I had been talking to people that had said that he was like pulling it together, and he was like,
Yeah, that's what Eddie Trunks. Are you a friend? Do you know Eddie?
Yeah. Well, I'd done the show once, but I had just talked to him because he was out for the Golden Gods awards out here, and which I was a part of. But
Yeah.
yeah, and so I had talked to him then, like, hey, had you heard anything? He's like, no, it's
Wasn't
looking
he?
good.
No, I thought he was there for that. Didn't he accept an
Oh
award?
yeah, I guess he was, but
Yeah.
oh no, but it was before that. But that I was talking to him.
Yeah,
But
and because I remember he was saying that he was doing a little better and things kind of looked okay. That's sad.
Yeah,
That's sad 'cause
totally.
and you know what's great about Dio is that he was just one of those guys. Again, like I always found myself looking up to people that were like Dee Snider and like even Gene Simmons. I know Gene gets a bad rap, but doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. Very. And Dio was the same way. He was a really good person, human like that. I never really found myself worshiping like the drug addicts, the drinkers. I love Guns N'
Right.
Roses, one of the greatest bands ever, but I couldn't relate to that.
Right.
Couldn't relate to it, And Dio was like one of those guys that's why I like the guys in Iron Maiden too. Like, when you listen to Bruce Dickinson talk, you know what I mean? He's like a kind of guy you look up to.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just a good. What do you think about?
And I met Dio, and he was really nice, and so I was sort of connected that way too. I mean, I was already
You
the
had
hugest
experience.
fan, but yeah, then to meet him, like, and he came over to my house to shoot a thing, like, and he was just like the coolest guy, and like so down to earth,
Very nice.
for being as huge as he was, and
It's just some people have that humbleness.
yeah,
Quick question: Maiden or Priest?
Maiden.
Really?
And I love Priest, but Maiden I connected with bigger, more in high school.
I did too. Because if you ask me personally, I think Maiden, like I have more of a personal connection to Maiden. But objectively speaking, who do you think is a more? I don't want to say better. It's not better, but like who would you?
They both
do you
did
think
different
represents-
styles of metal.
Don't you feel like Priest though is just more diverse? Like they have more.
And they were around first, so they made more of an impact, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you were gonna
Like they were like the first guys to have like the twin guitar solos, before
Right.
Maiden even.
That's what I mean. And
that's what Maiden's
they
known for,
influenced
but,
a lot
yeah.
of. But the thing is, I'm trying to say like if an alien came down and you had to be like, okay, no, my brother do that all the time. If aliens came down, because that's the most
And
extreme.
then they're going to ask you about Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Like,
No,
what
but if they
fucking
want like
weird
teach you about
alien.
your culture, and we want to know about like okay, give me someone who represents heavy metal, like an
Right.
ambassador. I just feel like
Well, I would have
Priest
said Dio before. Yeah.
before Priest.
Yeah. Well, Sabbath. Well,
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
all right.
Because I still think even Sabbath, if Sabbath really stems from blues.
Right.
It's still a heavy blues. It's not like Priest to me. It's like the epitome of what heavy metal is with
Right,
the
and then
leather,
they
the
also-
kind
the
of
imagery, yeah,
the
yeah.
imagery, and also to the lyrical content. Like think
Right,
about
you're
Sabbath.
right. Yeah.
Sabbath was they
But
talked
they
about
did the
like
satanic and the weird stuff. And
yeah,
yeah.
but it wasn't really metal. It was almost more like I don't know. It seems like Priest kind of shaped metal as a culture
I
of
see
like
that.
of like I don't know. I mean, that's just an opinion on it. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm just saying.
Oh, I
it's-
don't.
No, okay.
No.
I'm just saying-
I think Sabbath is pretty established as like the first metal band.
yes. There's it. Yes.
And but Priest did like some really cool stuff with metal. Yeah, I'll give you
Priest
that,
to me
yeah.
is heavy. When I think heavy metal, I think Priest. When I think of Black Sabbath, I don't really think of it. I know people say they are. It's just like when people say AC/DC's heavy metal.
Right.
It's not
yeah,
heavy metal,
I don't
really.
go with you on that.
It's
Yeah,
not heavy
yeah,
metal.
yeah. No,
AC/DC. Yeah.
Highway to Hell
Hard
is a pretty
rock.
yeah,
But it's not heavy metal. It's hard rock.
but some of the imagery's there in that record, Highway to Hell. I mean, it's about hell.
Well,
That's
so
pretty
hell
metal.
has to be metal.
No, it doesn't have to be. But I don't know.
Well, all right. Well, let's go. Let's transfer now into my the other part of this podcast, which is food. Are you a foodie? Do you love food?
I love food, but yeah, the foodie thing is a hard label to put on yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm a foodie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
my-
actually know how to do it too, or
What, like
and you
cook
know
and
what you
stuff?
like, and you know how to describe like what you like and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because
Very
I
much.
just like it, but
no,
I can't
I'm,
go. Yeah.
I'm passionate about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not as put it this way. I'm not as well versed as I should. Like I'd like to be. Like I'm learning more about. Like I wish I had a better vocabulary of how to describe it.
Right,
And I
right.
wish I could, and more. And I will. And like now that I'm aware of it, but like 10 years from now, I bet you I'll be able to like really be like, well, the hint of basil that they put in infused in the sauce. Right now, I'm trying.
That's what I'm like too.
Yeah.
I'm, impressed by my friends that know what they're talking about.
Right, right.
Yeah,
I love
what
it.
he said. I like that. More of that.
But do you just kind of like, oh, I like that, whatever, or or do you get into it enough that
Oh,
you
I know
go,
what I like. Yeah.
So what do you like? What kind of stuff? Are you a big eater, first of all? Are you a big eater, like portion-wise? Like you pig out or not really?
I don't know.
I pig out. Well, Alex was with me at dinner yesterday at the Rainbow, and he
And
couldn't.
embarrassed by you? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, most people are. Right?
I couldn't fucking finish.
He was like, I ate
Oh,
my
the rainbow,
stuff,
the
and then I
giant
ate.
steak there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, love it. So what do you like?
Big into Japanese food, and I love sushi. You know, and Matsuhisa, Nobu, and those places. And
I want to go tonight with some of my
Morimoto,
friends for sushi. Where would you suggest? Not crazy pricey though.
oh,
'Cause, like, Nobu's gonna
go
be-
to the valley. Go to Katsuya in the valley.
Best.
Yeah,
God, what is it? What is it? Hold on.
Katsuya.
Alex just
Yeah.
ejaculated. What?
That's what I said to you last night. We got to go to Katsuya.
Katsuya? Is that where I'm staying?
Go to the
Is
real
that where
one.
I'm staying
Don't go
on the
to.
valley?
Don't go to. Yeah, yeah.
Where
the
is
ones on Ventura. But what happened is they sold their name to like one of those big club companies. That they do stuff over here. So go to the ones in the valley. Those are the original
Well,
ones.
I
On
don't
Ventura
know what that
Boulevard.
means.
There's one in
Is that near where I am?
one in Studio City and then one in Encino by Uncle Rick's.
You know-
Yeah,
you know-
Yeah, yeah.
But you live there too.
Yeah, yeah.
But you could
that's where
tell
I
me,
live. Yeah,
Alex.
yeah.
You could tell me. All right. So after this, you could tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
my wife and I's favorite place. We've been going
Great
to there
sushi.
forever. Yeah,
How
yeah.
price wise is okay.
It's not as crazy as Nobu. Yeah, yeah, or that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then what about what are some other places around here? Not sushi. Give me another place.
Jar.
What's
God,
that?
I wish I could remember the chef's name. But she was from one of those shows. We went there once because she was on like Top Chef or one of those, and just liked what she did on the show and went to the restaurant. And it's super interesting. Again, like I'm not good at describing it. I think it's sort of French influenced.
What is it called? Jar?
Yeah, but just gourmet and just
Well, tell me what would you order if someone said I want to eat.
She does
The
this pot
Posehn
roast
special.
there, which pot roast, you're like, well, what's gourmet about that? But it's just the best tasting pot roast you've ever had. And I don't even know what she does to it that makes it special. But like angels jizz on it in the back room or something. I don't know. I know it sounds gross, but it's angel jizz. So,
Well,
it's
yeah.
delicious. The act
hold
is
on,
the
can I
act
ask
is
you a
hard to watch. You don't want to
Hold on a
watch a bunch of
second.
angels.
So you give me a hard time for getting a Hummer with a friend of mine, but you'll eat angel's jizz?
They're angels.
It's jizz. What's the difference?
Yeah, but you're
Wait, because they're angels, it's okay?
yes. It's delicious. It's beautiful. It's magic.
So, okay, in that same mentality, would you let a girl blow you and an angel at the same time?
Yeah, and I'd high five the shit out of that angel.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's just a thing of against humans that you
Yeah.
have. So, all right.
No, I'd fist bump
Now
him.
that we cleared that up. Now that we cleared that
Yeah, I
up.
wouldn't even be bummed like if his angel balls touched my leg or something. Like
Just 'cause it's an
this is angel.
What if it was an angel? What if it was an angel, though, that was in a human body? That's what they usually do. See? Like in
Yeah, I
those
wouldn't
films.
know. I probably wouldn't
No, but
know.
what
I
if you
just
knew?
brushed an angel's balls.
No, what if you
I'd
knew?
be,
What
dude,
if-
what's up? And then he'd be like, I'm an angel.
What if you saw like light? What if you were? What if
This
you had?
conversation
let's-
went off the rails.
Hold on a second. No,
5
this is
minutes ago.
exactly what I like for my show. All right, it's you,
Uh-huh.
it's me,
Uh-huh.
and some hot fucking chick in the middle of us.
No.
Hold on. Before
What
you
if
say
you
no.
told me you're an angel?
Yes.
Right now you're telling
what,
me?
No, I'm saying hypothetically.
Okay.
What if light came down and you saw my wings? Like, remember that movie De Niro did? Not De Niro, Pacino did.
Yeah, well, first I'd be like, bro, this isn't going to happen. And then your
Right,
wings
but then I
pop
said,
down, and I'm
"Oh,
like,
really?" And then let's say my wings came out.
let's do this.
Yes.
And then I'd headbutt you.
Would you?
While we're banging her. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. Yes. Sure.
I don't get. I think you're very confused.
Yeah.
Your etiquette.
I don't know what's happening now.
Your etiquette is very confusing to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
because you'd eat the.
I
jizz,
have these
you'd
rules,
high
and
five-
then-
yeah,
Yeah.
you'd high five the angel, but in what form? In what form? All right. So speaking of angel jizz, are there any other restaurants? Are there anything else in particular that you can recommend? While we, before we close this up.
Oh, yeah. Have you heard about the trucks out here?
No.
The food trucks. It's like the biggest
that?
trend in the last like year and a half of
No.
gourmet food trucks traveling around and showing up like at people's workplaces and
Well, I know a food truck. What that
yeah,
is,
but it's like gourmet. Chefs riding around and actually having like high quality food in the back of a truck, and it's cheap. And there's a bunch of really good ones right now.
Now, is it somewhere where like you know where they're going to be?
Well, yeah, they're on Twitter and they're on Facebook.
Oh,
and
so
all
you can
that.
follow
like,
where they are that
yeah.
day. And you had one?
This Border Grill taco truck is amazing.
But I got to now find that.
Well, it's easy. You're on the internet.
Yeah, but
It's not hard.
It's not hard?
No, and I suck at that stuff, and
Okay.
I figured it out.
All right. Well, if you can figure it out, I can figure it out. I had when I was in
Wow.
Hawaii. In Hawaii, I had a truck, the shrimp truck.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about.
Did you- have you
on
been there?
like the North Shore.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Right
yes.
at the top of the show. You've been there to that
Yes.
particular one?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
There's the one that's like the famous one.
Yeah, but it's like in that parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
seems
like a few of them,
yeah,
but there's
yeah.
one that's like the famous one. Unreal. I
Yeah.
kept going back for more, and I was just like,
Really good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said.
And we also went to last time I was in Hawaii.
Last time. Whoa.
No.
Last time I was in Hawaii.
Hey, man.
How many times you go to Hawaii, dude?
A handful. Anyway.
Handful.
But
good to
the
be
last
you.
time, the last time I was there, I'd never experienced this before. But we were by somebody's house, and they were cooking chicken in their front yard, like on an abandoned car. Like they'd built this barbecue out of like the front end of a car,
Right.
and we're selling chicken out of the front yard, and it was like some of the most delicious yard chicken I've ever had.
chicken.
It was really good.
I've heard in New York there's people that have like restaurants in their house. You know that?
Yeah.
That's cool. I've
That's
never
like a
done
trend,
that. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
come in and whatever. Yeah, I should do that in my place because I have the pinball machine and the rabbits could like, bring you the salt and
Right.
stuff. I can train the rabbits to bring you like salt and pepper and things like that. And no? You want to come
I
over
don't
to
know
my
how
house with me?
sanitary that is.
Oh, well,
You'll probably get a D from the health and.
all right. Well, Brian, thank you so much. Did you have a good time? I hope?
Yeah, man, it was a blast.
How awesome am I?
It was good. I have never talked about the things we've talked about in other interviews. So.
That's exactly the point.
Nice.
And the greatest thing about it is you don't have to worry about anyone being upset or whatever because no one actually listens to the show.
Okay, good.
Right, so you can say whatever you
Good.
want.
All
No
right,
one's
I wish I
listening.
would have known that earlier.
Yeah. Well, if you did
I
some
would have
research,
been more
you would have
forthcoming. Yeah,
If
yeah.
you did some research, you would have known.
Oh, no one listens to this.
We're not even
This will
recording.
be awesome.
You know, we're not even recording.
That stuff's not connected in
On
anything.
Facebook.
This is solar powered.
Nice.
So yeah, well, thank you so much, Brian Posehn, for being on the Paulie Z Show. Yay!
Thanks for having me, man.
fellow metalhead, and hopefully, maybe one day we'll go rock out at a concert together.
All right.
So I'd love for you to see our band one day. I have actually a CD for you. I'll give it to you.
Cool.
Yeah, they've made great coasters, by the way. So if you want to email me, it's yopaulie@thepoliezshow.com, or you can get this episode, and all the other ones at iTunes, or if you want to go straight to the website, it's thepoliezshow.com. But iTunes is easy and it's free. Just go there and download it, and you can check out our band at zo2.com and my Twitter, which is twitter.com/zo2paulie. All right, so another great interview, and this is part 3 of our West Coast little mini podcast series. So so I'm having fun out here, and that is it. I guess I have nothing else to say. Brian, you want to say anything?
Nope.
Okay, good, perfect. Later.